In this video, we're going to talk about highest common factor. Given let's say two numbers here, you've got to find a factor, but that is common to both of these. So, for example, if you look at 210 and this number here, you could say that 2 is a common factor. Well, 2 is a factor of this, and 2 is also a factor of this, and it's actually common to both of them. So 2 is a common factor. Common means common to both. Factor here, well, 2 is a factor. But then if you look at this number and this number here, you could also say, well, 10 is also a factor. 10 is a factor of this, because if you get 210 divided by 10, it will give you a whole number. If you get this number divided by 10, it will give you a whole number. So 10 is also a factor, and it's also a common factor because it's common to both of these. But it's not the highest. There is a common factor that is higher than 2, higher than 10. The question is, what is the highest common factor of 210 and 770? Well, the trick to finding this out is to break up this into a product of primes. Break this up into a product of primes. So let me show you how, as an example here. So here we could do this as 2 and then 105, but it's not a very well. You could do that, but a better way would be to break it up as a 10. So you can visualize this as you can visualize 210 as 10 times 21. Okay. Now break up the 10 as 2 times 5. Break up the 21 as 3 times 7. And if you look, all of these are primes. Now let's break this up. You could use 2 here. You could use 2, break it up as a 2 and times something else, but a better method would be break it up as a 10 times a 77. So if you get 77 times 10, you would get this number here. Okay. Now break up the 10 as a 2 times a 5, and the 77 break that up as 11 times 7. Okay, because 7 times 11 is 77. Now let's look at this. Look at this one here. So we can write 210 as a product of primes. So that's equals to 2 times 5. Let's try and keep it in order. 2 times 3, and then times 5, and then times 7. Okay, so you can visualize 210 as 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. Now look at 770. Let's visualize 770 as a 2 times a 5 times a 7, and then times 11. Okay, so if so here we've expressed the two numbers as a product of primes. Now if you want to find the highest common factor, well, look to see what's in common between the two. So you can visualize these as the building blocks of this number, and these as the building blocks of this number here. Now if you look at all the building blocks, what's in common is the 2 here. Well, this one has a 3, but the bottom one doesn't have a 3. The other common thing is the 5 here. Okay, and also the 7 here. You see, you could looking at these two numbers, 210 and 770. You could say 2 is a common factor, because you can see that here. 2 is a common factor. You could say 5 is a common factor, because it's here. Oh, you can't say 3 is a common factor, because 3. Well, if you look at the bottom number, 3 doesn't exist in. Well, you can't. 3 is not a common factor, whereas 5 is, because look at the 5. It's in both. Okay. You could say 7 is a common factor. Okay. By the way, you could now combine the 2 and the 7. You could say 14 is also a factor. You could say combine the 2 and the 5 and say that 10 is a common factor. But if you want the highest common factor, then combine all 3 of them. So you've got a 2 here, and you've got a 5 here, and then you've got a 7 here. So let's combine all 3. Let's combine 5 times 7 is 35, and then times 2 would be 70. So actually it's 70. That's the highest common factor. If you get a calculator, you can actually get 210 divided by 70, and it will give you a whole number. Now get this number divided by 70, and it will also give you a whole number. What I'm trying to say is that 70 is a common factor in both this number and in this number, and it's also the highest one, because these are the common factors, and we combined all 3. That's the highest. Well, 70 is the highest. That's in common between the 2. So now the highest common factor, you could write it as this: highest common factor of 210, 770 equals 70. Okay, so to find the highest common factor of something, break up those numbers into a product of primes, and then you can try and figure out the highest common factor. Okay.